What's up, guys? Yet another Facebook Live, because I'm in it to win it, as RK would say. So yeah, this one's entitled "Don't Assume." Sorry, "Don't Assume, Communicate, and Ask Clarifying Questions." So yeah, we never really know what's going on in people's hearts. We just don't know, and I think a lot of times we can assume that we do know what's going on in people's hearts, but our intuition might not be 100% correct. So we need to be really careful about that. We need to be careful about judging what's going on in someone else's heart, being suspicious, just having a feeling. We don't know. We really don't know what's going on in people's hearts. So we need to be very careful about trying to make judgments about those things. We don't know what's going on in someone else's world. So maybe you feel like somebody's off. They're not acting like they are normally. And maybe you have a tendency to internalize that and be like, oh my gosh, it must be me. They must be mad at me. Not the case. Maybe they just had an argument with, someone on the way to, connect with you or something like that. So that could be a possibility as well. So there's that whole aspect of don't assume. Don't make assumptions about other people's internal stuff. You just don't know. And communicate. If there's something that's bothered you, you just have to communicate and you have to ask that clarifying question. Hey, I've noticed you seem a little off today. Is there something that I did? And maybe then you're going to get into, that person. Maybe if you have enough relationship and rapport with them, then maybe they're going to go ahead and open up and be real with you about what's really going on. And if it is an issue that it does involve you, that's a good opportunity for that actual conversation to happen. But if you leave it in the dark and you leave it in this area of assumption, it's just not a good place for relationships. So I think that these three things right there are really important. Making assumptions in relationships, making assumptions about what's going on in other people's hearts, making assumptions at all based on limited knowledge is just bad news, because then you can harbor things in your heart towards that person without all the facts. So yeah, I think this is just an important thing to do when it comes to our relationships. Dean Sherman actually says that every problem is a relationship problem. Dean, thanks for checking in on some of these Facebook Lives and encouraging me. I really appreciate that. I remember I think in our DTS in 2003, we watched your relationship teachings on VHS, and those were fun. I think they were from the 70s, those teachings. So every problem is a relationship problem is something that you said in that, and I think that's true. And so we really need to make sure that we're learning how to communicate well, that we're not assuming we know what's going on in other people's hearts. People are complicated, and we just don't know what's going on in people's internal worlds, but what the external things are that are doing that. And then when we just make assumptions based off of not knowing all the facts, then it causes a lot of problems. So if you have an inkling, or you have, whatever, don't judge people when you don't know all the facts. Make sure that you're taking the time to have a relationship with those people and make your assessments based off of fact and truth, and ask good questions. Be in relationship with those people. Ask clarifying questions to figure out what's really going on. But when we start assuming, that's when the bad stuff happens. So that's a little bit of just kind of interpersonal, relational advice. It's something I need to hear too. A lot of the times I feel like I have a high intuition, and I'm pretty good about recognizing how people are feeling and stuff like that. But I think I have a lot of I'm not right all the time, and so it's not good for me to think that I know what's going on in people's lives and hearts and minds without letting them tell me what's really going on in their hearts and minds. So there it is. Let me know what you think of this. Comment and let me know. I'm not sure what number this is, but I got one more coming. I got the dishes soaking right now, and I'm gonna put out one more just because I'm not gonna let RK win. All right.